Joining me next on Central Valley Talk is Albert Rivera from CD Simonian Insurance. Always comes up with interesting things to talk about. And today, Albert, you want to talk about some of the confusion surrounding homeowners insurance.
Absolutely, Mr. Scott. We get a lot of calls from customers that are constantly, when they get the renewal, and they say, hey, Albert, well, let me ask you this. My house is worth $175,000 if I were to sell it. But on the other hand, you're insuring it for $245,000. Why? I want to insure it at the value of what my bank is explaining.
They think they're overpaying.
Right. And I tell them.
And they're not really.
And they're not, because I tell them, well, whatever the market value of your home is not necessarily the value if you were to rebuild the house. I tell them, if your house burns down to the ground, how much is it going to cost for the insurance company to rebuild the home from scratch, from the foundation? How much are they going to pay for debris removal? If that slab is damaged and it needs to be jackhammered out and all that debris has to be moved out, so that adds additional cost. So when you explain that to them, then they start getting the idea and understanding it better. I tell them, look, you have your house really nicely, very nicely decorated. You want to make sure that the house, if it gets rebuilt, it's to the original state. And you want it to look just like it did before it burned down.
Yeah.
And those are the kind of things that we have to go over with the customers. Another question that comes up a lot is we have many customers that their homes were built back in the 1950s and 60s.
Here in the Tower District? Maybe even older than that. Yeah.
Even older than that. And when we're going over the coverages, I tell them, look, with this home, we need to make sure that we add what's called ordinance law, building ordinance, to your insurance policy. And they'll say, ordinance? Oh, what's that? So, well, if you have any damages to your home and it needs to be repaired, guess what? Those repairs now need to be up to code, and the building codes of 2015 are not the same building codes of the 1950s.
Completely different.
Exactly. Yeah. And, of course, building codes is another word for it's going to cost you more money to get it repaired. And it's better to make sure that you have those coverages built into the policy, because the last thing I want is for an insured to have a claim and not have enough coverage because we didn't put those additional features into the policy.
Yeah.
And those things come across those situations, especially when we do the insurance reviews. And I cannot stress that enough, how important it is to review on a yearly basis your policy,
Well,
and I know.
I haven't reviewed my policy. I mean, I have I have a condo and I have a rental home.
Okay.
And I have policies on both of them.
Right.
I haven't looked at those policies in years.
Absolutely. But let me ask you this, Mr. Scott. If you were to receive a call from your agent and he were to review that information with you, or if your agent, since he has your information with him, he might look at something and say, hey, Mr. Scott, I picked this up on your current coverage, and I think that, because of the age of the building or any new laws that are coming up, it might be a good idea for you to have these additional coverages. I'm sure you would listen at that,
The only time I hear from my agent is,
yeah,
your bill is due.
Your bill is due. Your bill is due.
Once a year.
And that's true. And that's true. And
I wish they would call and ask me that.
Because, it is important, because our circumstances change. What happens if you have a home and you decided to do a major addition to the home, and you're under the impression, well, I have a homeowner's policy. Well, yeah, but what if that addition that you added to your home just added an extra $80,000 worth of property value?
Right.
Well, you want to make sure that it's insured properly. So if you're having a home that's insured at the value of $250,000, but now your home is worth $320,000, you're underinsured. And that's why I think it's very important for the agent to take the time to contact the insurance, your insurance customers, and go over those coverages. And at the same time, he just keeps a friendly relationship with the insured. You're not hearing from them just once every year or once in a blue moon.
Well, let me ask you this then. Could I bring to you the two insurance policies I have, and you look at them and you could make recommendations?
I would be more than happy to.
Yeah.
And I tell people, look, it doesn't matter if you don't have your coverage with me. because I say, if I review your insurance policy, one of two things are going to happen. Either we're going to point out that the coverages that you have are right on par with what you need, so you're going to be happy with your current insurance agent, or they're not. And if they're not, either you can come with me, or you can get the coverages from your current insurance agent. It doesn't matter.
I don't even know my agent's name. I know the name of the company.
Well, but I can predict the future. I can tell you the name of your future insurance agent, Albert Rivera from CD Simonian Insurance. That's the name of your future insurance agent.
I think you might be right. You might be right.
Well, like I said, insurance is very complicated. And the gentleman that was here earlier, he made it very clear that it's ever changing, and it's constantly, the laws are changing, just like in taxes.
Right.
And it's very important to keep on track with everything and make sure that you're aware of the changes. I was in Sacramento just last week. We were at a insurance class, 3 days, mainly agriculture insurance. But there's some new OSHA laws that are coming about. And well, now that we have that new information, well, I can pass that on to our farming customers and let them know, hey, new OSHA regulations are coming down, and it's going to affect you in this way and in that way, and we need to find out, is that going to impact your premium or not? So those are the kind of things that we always want to address, so that we're doing our job correctly. I want to make sure that I provide my customers the very best service. Because if I do that, well, they're going to stay with me.
Very true.
Exactly.
Very true. Albert, good seeing you as always.
Well, thank you, sir. It's a pleasure.
You always make the information interesting.
Well, thank you. Well, I know it sounds corny, but I truly enjoy insurance. It's a fascinating field. There's nothing boring about insurance.
Well, to me, it's boring. I'll let you have all the fun with it. Albert, good seeing you.
Pleasure being here with you, Mr.
CD
Scott.
Simonian, did you give the phone number?
834-5333, area code 559.
And online?
Online, www.cdsimonian.com.
There you go. Albert Rivera with us here on Central Valley Talk.